Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to all of you. It's a pleasure that you all joined us today. Since the entry of all newcomers like us in this department, we were lacking an event or any kind of symposium where we could meet, greet, discuss, where we can freely share ideas on our running service conditions. So this meet is organized totally for us. To commence this orientation program, I would like to introduce the dedicated individuals who form the backbone of our NEC community of BKNK Sangh, that is General Secretary and Finance Secretary. General Secretary Mr. Zahir Ahmed Sir, who is a beacon of true leadership and dedication, steering our organization with his broad vision and integrity. Under his guidance, BKNK Sangh has reached new heights, fostering a culture of excellence for all employees in FCI. Each member of our team brings a wealth of experience, passion, and commitment. Their collective efforts ensure that BKNK Sangh provides dynamic environment for professional growth of all employees in FCI. Secondly, I would like to introduce Finance Secretary NEC BKNK Sangh, Mr. Anupam Krishna Patel, who is endowed with tremendous leadership abilities. He looks after NEC operations, ensuring that our resources are managed wisely and transparently. Now coming to our next and major section of this event, let me introduce you to my seniors, Mrs. Garima Upadhyay and Mrs. Akanksha Jaiswal, who will be explaining to you all about significant contributions of BKNK Sangh in FCI. A big round of applause for Mrs. Garima Upadhyay and Mrs. Akanksha Jaiswal.
Today we have gathered here for an orientation program, and this meeting is meant for celebrating the idea of being together and achieving the success that we have attained through teamwork and unity.
A very good afternoon to all of you. I, Garima Upadhyay, give a quick orientation view that is intended to give a quick graspable overview of this corporation, its objective, work profile and culture over here. Moreover, we are focused on providing you a quick referral system for trade unionism, its role, responsibilities, and finally a sneak peek at BKNKS and its achievements.
Now we're going to understand about the basic objectives of Food Corporation of India and what is FCI. The Food Corporation of India is a statutory body of Government of India. It is a public service undertaking and it comes under the ownership of Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, formed by the enactment of Food Corporation Act 1964. Since its inception, FCI has played a significant role in transforming India from a food crisis management program into a more stable security system. Now, the basic objectives of Food Corporation of India is procurement. We procure food grains directly from the farmers, ensuring minimum support price to them. Then storage and preservation. We not only store but also preserve food grains. We store food grains at various depots, silos and warehouses all over India. Maintaining buffer stock, maintaining satisfactory level of operational buffer stocks of food grains for managing crises like famine, drought, and in recent times we can talk about COVID-19. I'd like to take this opportunity to emphasize about the fact that during COVID, FCI employees performed as food warriors and many of them unfortunately lost their lives as well. In addition, to overcome the problem of malnutrition, Government of India through FCI had devised a scheme for fortification of rice grain with macro and micronutrients. Then comes the distribution through PDS operation. This is last but not the least. We supply food grains to state government through PDS operations under various schemes to provide subsidized food grains to vulnerable class of the society. FCI ensures availability, accessibility and affordability of food grains to all people at all times so that no one at nowhere at no given time goes hungry.
Coming to the next slide, that is geographical distribution, or we can say the organizational structure. FCI is vast in its expansion all over from coast to coast and it's headquartered at New Delhi. As you can see here, that headquarters is divided in 5 sub-zones, that is Zonal Office North, East, West and South. And if talking particularly about Zonal Office North, it is further divided into 8 regions along with ZTI, which is known as an IFS situated at Gurugram. We have Delhi region, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Rajasthan, UP, Uttarakhand. Among these, the UP region, Himachal and Punjab region and Haryana are mostly the procuring one, and rest are mostly the consuming region. Now this FCI is further distributed in the zone, region, district as well as depots also, and being categorically heterogeneous in terms of agriculture of the staple crop of FCI can also be mentioned as a procuring and consuming, which I had already told you. Further, FCI region can also be mentioned into DCP and non-DCP state, that is central rule. What is DCP state? When procurement, storage, distribution are totally governed by FCI government centrally. It's procure all over grain, or state agencies procure the food grain and hand over it to FCI, and DCP is vice versa. From 2006 to 2010, UP region was DCP state, and from 2011 onward, again it came under the non-DCP state. Next slide please.
This is basically the flow chart showing the working of the FCI, the basic trends of FCI. As I told you earlier, we procure food grains from the farmers by ensuring MSP, minimum support price to the farmers. Then from the farmers, we, Food Corporation of India, that is the center that store and preserve food grains, and then it is allocated at central issue price to state governments through various distribution schemes. Then it reaches to fair price shops and then sale at grains at central issue price. This central issue price is decided by Government of India only, and then it reaches to beneficiaries, that is the vulnerable class of the society.
Now, coming to the next slide, that is industrial relations. What is industrial relation, or in the short form IR? It is the sum total of relationship and interaction between the employee and the employer. It pertains to the study and practice of collective bargaining, trade unionism, and labor management relations. The friction between the employer and employee and the conflict they precipitate are known as labor problem. An industrial relation is basically the study of labor problem and alternative method to resolve such problems. Now, how can these methods can be solved? The first is the employer solution, which is the management itself. The worker solution, which can be solved by the help of trade unionism and collective bargaining. And when it's come to the community, it's solved by the government legislative bodies and social insurance program. Industrial relations include the processes through which these relationships are expressed, as in the form of collective bargaining and trade unionism, worker participation in decision making, and grievances and dispute settlement and the management of conflict between employees, workers, trade union as and when it arises.
As Garima had talked about trade union, please next slide. I'm going to tell you about the history of the trade union. Prompted by poor working conditions under British imperialism, workers and social reformers began protesting for the betterment of the state of affairs, which then gradually led to formation of workers' unions. However, these organizations were mostly ad hoc in nature and lasted only till the pressing issue did. These organizations, with the increase in industrialization, need of the trade union also increased exponentially. So the first Industrial Act was formed in 1881, and the first duly registered trade union was found by Mr. B.P. Varia in 1918. It is considered as the first trade union which was formed systematically. Since the labour movement had spread to almost all industrial centres and has become an integral part of the industrial process of India, the reach of trade unions then also expanded significantly. Later on, laws governing the trade unions came into existence, which created the rules for regulation and closer monitoring of trade unions. Now coming on to the laws governing trade union, Article 19(1)(c) of Constitution of India 1950 has given us the right to form an association or trade union. It comes under a fundamental right of freedom of speech and expression that guarantees the citizen to form association or trade union. Even Supreme Court has also guaranteed this right. So we are free to form any union and we are free to join any union. Now, Trade Union Act 1926 provides right to form and register trade union and can be defined as any combinations, whether temporary or permanent, formed primarily for the purpose of regulating the relations between workmen and employers, or between workmen and workmen, or between employers and employers. one can form union. For imposing a restrictive condition on the conduct of any trade or business and includes any federation on two or more trade unions. Then comes the Industrial Dispute Act that we basically call it as an ID Act of 1947. If any dispute arises between the employer and employee, that can be sorted through ID Act. The ID Act also regulates the rights of employers and employees in the settlement of industrial relations, disputes.
Now coming to the next slide, that is the function of trade union. Trade union performs the number of functions to complete its objectives, or we can say to complete or achieve its objective. As the first one you can see here, it represents all the workers including the migrant worker. Now you can have the question that what is migrant worker? These are the food transferees which are deputed from Regional Directorate of Food. Second, undertake the collective bargaining and if required, coordinate the workmen that is unemployed disputes. Third, it promotes the sound industrial relations and upholds social justice and labor law. And fourth, channel the aspiration of their members to defend workers' rights and interests to achieve a better world of work for all. Overall, trade union work for the betterment of position of members in relation to their employees by ensuring adequate wages and securing the better condition of work. When the union failed to accomplish these aims by the method of collective bargaining, negotiation, they adopt an approach and put a fight with management in the form of go-slow tactics, boycott, strike. But BKNK Sangh believes in industrial harmony and makes every attempt to opt the way of collective bargaining with management, because BKNK leaders don't want to fade away the image of the corporation and thus avoid every cause of creating hurdle in accomplishment of food security aim of this corporation.
Coming on to the collective bargaining slide. As per Honorable Supreme Court of India, collective bargaining is a technique by which dispute arise due to working conditions or conditions of employment is resolved amicably rather than with coercion, that is with friction. So collective bargaining is basically comes into various stages through which we negotiate our demand by with the management. So first of all, charter of demands. We have to get a demand to negotiate it and get it implemented. So charter of demands, the representative of the trade union draft a charter of demand through various discussions and consultations with other union members, and then the charter typically contains issues related to wages, allowances, benefits, working hours, etc. So after the demand is finalized, then we go to negotiation part. As the next step, negotiation begin after submission of charter of demands by the trade union representative. During negotiation, the trade union and employer engage in debates and discussions pertaining to the demand. For this, periodical meetings are arranged formally by the management with the recognized union. And in case of non-recognized union, informal meeting is arranged. Coming upon to the collective bargaining agreement. Once the negotiation has been done, we reach to a particular agreement. Then a collective bargaining agreement is drawn up and entered in between the employer and the workman representative. It may be structured as a memorandum of settlement, that we call it MOS, or consent award. If both the parties fail to reach a collective agreement, the union may go for a strike. Then comes the conciliation proceedings. Once the conciliation officer receives a notice of strike or lockout, conciliation proceedings can be concluded in one of the following recommendations. Either a settlement will be made or no settlement will be made, or the matter will be referred to a labor court or tribunal or industrial tribunal. Then comes the compulsory arbitration or adjudication. This is the last step of collective bargaining. When conciliation and mediation fails, parties may either go for voluntary or compulsory arbitration and then adjudication by labor courts, industrial tribunals or national tribunals.
Coming to the next slide, that is BKNK Sangh, as we are part of BKNK Sangh, and it is very important to know about such history. BKNK has rooted its presence right from the inception of FCI. As told, the first appointed staff were the food transferees deputed from the Regional Directorate of Food. Need of union arose for those deputed staff, and so they formed the association to secure the demands and need of the employees, which was led by late Venjini Narangiji. With the passing days, new recruitment started in FCI, and understanding the need of union, they also formed a separate union named FCI Employee Union. With the emerging issues is, both the Association of Food Transferee and Union of New Recruitees came up together for an alliance. This was the time during the 1970s when FCI Employee Union sporadically increased, but with different names in different regions. Like in North Zone, this union was known by the name of the BKNKS. In East and South Zone by the Employee Staff Union, and in the West Zone by the FCI Employee Association. The employees of FCI all over India took forward BKNK with different names, yet with the same objective, until the CDA pattern was replaced by IDA pattern in FCI, and hence the necessity for a union for the strong collective bargaining skill arose. Now, after the imposition of the IDA pattern, need of a nationally recognized union that can negotiate well with for the wages with management and deal with employees issues at national level arose. A joint front of unions for wage negotiation was formed and represents the BKNK and all its tributaries all over the India, which was called the National Coordination Committee, that negotiated for the wages several times successfully. It was the time when check-off mode of election was also introduced in FCI. A secret ballot was introduced in FCI in 1995 for the conductance of election. In 1995 election, BKNK secured the maximum votes but with different names in different regions. This was the time when ESU and FCI management challenged its recognition at national level in the Supreme Court of India. And unluckily, the Supreme Court dropped the recognition of BKNK and denying the alliance of regional and zonal union, as a result of which the recognition fell into the ESU's ballot. After that, an amalgamation of all the tributaries of BKNK took place, and in 2004 staff union election, BKNK emerged as the undisputed winner and nationally recognized union in FCI. Among all the unions, BKNK has established itself most powerfully and achieved recognition at all India level for the 5th time in 2019. Presently, Shri Sama Satish Reddy is holding the position of National President and Shri Zahir Ahmed is holding the position of General Secretary of BKNK respectively. This was the history of BKNK. Now, what are the fundamentals of BKNK? As you can see here, spanning from headquarters to the respective zones to the regions to each and every district offices and depots, we are the representation of worker class at every strata. Second, continuously striving hard to improve the condition of working class, providing shielding effect to the service condition of employees. Third, it aims at balancing and improving the relation between management and workers class. Fourth and last, that cooperate with workers in understanding their rights, help in providing safe and healthy work environment away from the partisanship or harassment at workplace. Overall, in a nutshell, it can be said that objective of BKNK is to protect, maintain and improve the economic and social interest of the employees. It does not only safeguard the socio-economic interest of the member, but their role is also valuable in maintaining the harmonious relationship between the workers and the management. An extraordinary example of BKNK's collective bargaining strength was effectively seen during the wage revision negotiation from 2017 to 2019, which culminated into the best wages hike amongst all the corporations and various CPSUs of India.
Next slide, please. From this slide onwards, we'll talk about the administrative and regulatory anomalies of FCI and what is the stand of union against those anomalies. To start with the most burning topic, Regulation 22(2). It is a regulation in line with the instructions of Government of India, and FCI employees are given premature retirement before the age of superannuation in the best interest of the corporation. Regulation 22(2) is analogous to FR 56J rule of central government employees. The main objective of this regulation, implementation of this regulation, is to administratively strengthen the corporation by removing the dead wood. Under Regulation 22(2), premature retirement can be given in two ways. First, premature retirement given by the department, where department reviews and take action against the employees on the basis of the services rendered by them to the corporation. Another way of premature retirement is the employee himself chooses that we call it VRS, voluntary retirement. But that condition is minimum 20 years and application of retirement is given by the employee himself. Now before the amendment, condition of premature retirement was service length of the employee should be of minimum 30 years or attainment of 50 years of age. But in 2021, amendment was made by management on the basis of FR 56J GOI, wherein it was stated that for premature retirement of category 1 and 2, attainment of 50 years of age and 55 years of age will be considered. 50 years of age when he had joined department before the age of 35 and 55 years of age when he had joined the department after the 35 years of age. Whereas for category 3 and 4, completion of 30 years of service in the corporation. In 2023, it was a widespread rumor that around 10% of the FCI employees will be given premature retirement. Now, BKNK then persuaded management to understand that management is not mature enough to understand the fact that management is not mature enough to take action against the employees in such a large scale. First case occurred when one category 3 of South Zone was prematurely retired under Regulation 22(2). BKNK intervened in the matter, illustrating that employees not even completed 30 years of service. So, understanding the same, GM region revoked that decision. However, later on, by applying this Regulation 22(2), 60 employees in North Zone and 27 category 1 officers were prematurely retired. In June 2023, BKNK expressed resentment against this dictatorial behavior, but management was adamant to implement the same. Thereafter, on request of the union, Deputy CLC New Delhi intervened in the matter and several conciliation proceedings were conducted by him to resolve this issue amicably. After this intervention, several orders of premature retirement given on the basis of this were revoked and management agreed to explore and examine the guidelines adopted by other PSUs in this matter. On this matter, if you are interested, a sequential events in action taken by BKNK Sangh is available on our YouTube channel, Trade Union Pulse.
The second regulatory anomaly is typist Hindi cadre absorption as Rajbhasha cadre. Previously, Hindi typist cadre on promotion was considered as AG2 general and recruitment on Hindi cadre was on the post of AG2 Hindi. During the parliamentary committee visit, committee raised a query on the recruitment of AG2 Hindi and asked FCI to recruit Hindi cadre as AG3 Rajbhasha in spite of AG2 general. After this, an amendment was made in staff regulation by deleting the regulation regarding the entry of typist Hindi cadre and inserted an amended regulation in 2022 regarding recruitment of AG3 Rajbhasha. Meanwhile, in West Zone, many employees of Hindi typist cadre were affected by this amended regulation and clarification was sought by zonal management from headquarters. Headquarter management issued a clarification that from the date of gazetted notification, the typist Hindi cadre employee, if exists, there he or she would also be treated as AG3 Rajbhasha cadre and promotion will be given accordingly. Since this was a clear violation in light of the labour laws, as without prior notice, they cannot change the service condition of Hindi typist cadre. Management has changed the service condition of concerned employee without following the statutory laws as Section 9A of IT Act as well as Section 45(1)A of Food Corporation Act. Similar matter also arises when one woman employee was selected from typist Hindi cadre to manager through APS. Against her promotion, 2 employees of West Zone filed a writ petition in concerned High Court and Honourable Court directed management to resolve the issue as per the followed by the corporation. In compliance to the direction of High Court, management of West Zone was preparing to withdraw the promotion order of said women and then she approached the BKNK Sangh to take up this matter. BKNK intervened and protested this amendment and had a view that this amendment was wrong in light of the statutory laws. Again, management union approached the Deputy CLC New Delhi to intervene in this, and the several conciliation unions succeeded in establishing that the move of management in this regard to the respective amendment is prejudice in nature and need to be resolved. Further, in periodical meeting with EDP on 8th April 2024, management assured us that typist Hindi cadre will not be converted to the AG3 Rajbhasha without the consent of the employee, and even the typist who cleared the APS exam would be allowed to join as a manager.
Coming upon to the next anomaly, that is bunching. Bunching is an anomaly of pay fixation that arises wherever pays are fixed during wage revision, and it occurs in many departments. It means the pay at two or more consecutive stages in a pay scale or grade pay at the pre-revised stage gets bunched at the same stage in the corresponding pay scale. In simpler words, bunching benefits are granted to an officer when the pay arrives equal to his corresponding junior due to wage revision in accordance to the new pay commission. Now, in case of FCI, the issue of bunching occurred due to wage revision with effect of 1st January 2017, wherein starting basic pay of 2011 batch and 2012 batch was similar, which clearly dissolved the demarcation between the salary pay difference demarcation of junior and senior. Now, with respect to bunching of pay, it is pertinent to mention that other unions were pretty sure that bunching will not be awarded and a wrong MOU has been signed. But BKNK deliberately inserted a clause in MOU and again persuaded the management with and made them understand the dire need of bunching. The management then agreed on it and took up the matter with Government of India in detail. However, as the same was not considered, citing the fact that FCI has already been given 15% of fitment and is therefore not eligible for the benefits of bunching as per DPE guidelines. But BKNK again approached Department of Public Enterprise detailing all the aspects of bunching and the dire need of bunching. The DPE took our plea positively and referred the matter to Department of Food and Public Distribution with letter dated 29th May 2024. Matter is subject to CGIT Lucknow also, and ultimately in the meeting held on 8th April 2024 and subsequently on 14th June 2024, management has agreed upon resolving the issue in an amicable way.
Next anomaly is annual increment issue. During the wage revision in 2017, MOU was signed on 1st February 2019, where in point number 3.2 it is mentioned that after fixation of pay, the employee will be eligible for annual increment in revised pay scale as on 1st January 2017 at 3% of revised basic pay, and it will be rounded off to the next multiple of rupees 10. Same was accepted by the Board of Director and Ministry consequently. Thereafter, MOU was sent by the Ministry concerned for the final approval from Finance Ministry. Consequently, on 7 August 2019, DOE approved our MOU with a question regarding annual increment given on the time of fixation. For example, if an employee is incorporated into the corporation on 30 April 2012 and another employee is incorporated on 30 December 2012, both will be eligible for annual increment on 1st January 2013. On 1st October 2019, MOS was signed wherein on the matter of annual increment on 1st January 2017, DPE has requested by DFPD to provide the clarification as why this annual increment is given simultaneously when both are joined at the different date. After giving several replies from the management of FCI, the concerned ministry had instructed to change the rule in respect to annual increment with the consent to DPE. On 27 October 2020, ministry sent the approval letter stating that in FCI, annual increment will be given only upon the completion of 1 year of service. Now, for example, the employee now who is incorporated into the corporation on 2nd February 2016 will be eligible for the annual increment on 1st March 2017. FCI made a circular that this will be applied to all the employees who rolled in the corporation on or after 1st January 2016. On 2nd June 2021, a gazetted notification came in which changes were made in Regulation 86. UP Committee of BKNK filed an ID against the step of this management, which was clear violation of Section 9A of ID Act and Section 45(1)A of Food Corporation Act. Conciliations had been failure and on the merit of the case, it was forwarded by RLC Lucknow to CGIT for adjudication. The matter is pending before CGIT. It is worth to mention that no union has taken up the matter all India. During the periodical meeting held with the management on 8 April 2024, and on 14 June 2024 on this matter, and with a deep discussion with management agreed to fix the meeting with BKNKS to resolve this issue amicably.
Now we'll talk about the pay fixation of ex-servicemen. In 1958, Defence Ministry proposed Article number 510 and 526C of CSR for pay fixation of PBOR category. PBOR category is a rank before officer rank. So wherein one increment per year was awarded till they reached the previous pay of previous organization to avoid undue hardship. FCI adopted these articles in 1982. However, in 1987, DOPT OM was adopted by FCI, and in line of this OM issued by DOPT, FCI management denied to give service weightage in pay fixation of the ex-servicemen. BKNK nationally persuaded management, and management in turn sought clarification to ministry, but DOPT declined it. In 2019, FCI management issued letter in which it was furnished that no weightage. BKNK approached RLC in 2021 because in 20 it was COVID time. In 2021, BKNK approached RLC and the case got FOC, that is failure of conciliation, and now is pending in CGIT. In 2002 and 23, several employees who were mainly members of other unions individually pursued High Court, and therefore management denied for out-of-court settlement with BKNK. Now the management submitted the affidavit mentioning not to give service weightage to ex-servicemen on re-employment in FCI on behalf of Ministry and DOPT. BKNK again persuaded management, and then FCI management agreed to send the proposal again to the Ministry for clarification as demanded by the union and others, as per minutes issued on 3rd January 2024. But the legal section of the FCI headquarters denied this to send this proposal to ministry, giving the plea that the issue is sub judice at various courts, and management on behalf of ministry and government are also taking a stand during those hearings. So it would be a clear-cut violation and contradiction to again send this previously rejected proposals. This all brought up a deadlock to this issue, but BKNK is constantly searching for the ways to bring out the solution soon.
Next regulatory anomaly is AG1 workman status. AG1 workman status got challenged due to the isolated employee case of 2012, who was AG1 depot at that time. He got charge sheeted in major for his involvement in the misappropriation case at a depot. Here he was sent as a committee member along with 2 managers for holding an inquiry. Due to his suspicious involvement, he got dismissed back then. Challenging his dismissal, he rushed to the CGIT and collaterally to Ranchi High Court, where he got relaxation. Afterward, FCI had filed an LPA at Ranchi High Court, not only challenging the decision but also the status of AG1 as a workman. Now, where the court established that this AG1 was working as a supervisor at that juncture, so the adjudication held at CGIT is null and void, and so the dismissal would not be revoked. Now, using the court verdict, management tried to establish that all AG1 from the department does not fall under the category of workman. FCI Patna has maliciously placed the affidavit that AG1 are not workmen as per the job description in the Honorable Court to manipulate the workman scenario, as per the job description, manipulate the whole scenario. BKNK took a strong stand against it and tried to explain that if ministry has approved the sanction strength of category 3 as a whole, which include the AG1 sanction strength considering as a workman, how can this be imposed for eliminating them from workmanship, which could result in prohibiting them from being trade union members? BKNK, by its letter dated 10 November 2023, requested management to refrain from such arbitrary decisions. Currently, the matter is with Deputy CLC, Delhi, and and on management side, file is on hold and under consideration.
Another achievement is deletion of Regulation 19(1) from Staff Commission. Under Regulation 91, the corporation is directed to bring about the termination of the employees just by giving 90 days notice or allowances in lieu thereof, which was defined by Supreme High Court of India, High Court of Delhi as ultra vires, that is beyond the scope of legal power, as its implementation would clearly violate the Article 14 of the Constitution of India, although it was never deleted from staff regulation since then. Hence, May 2023, BKNKS started pursuing the matter for its immediate deletion from staff so that no one at any time could use this and get affected from it. And finally, in the periodical meeting held on 8th April 2024, management had agreed upon reviewing it positively through an internal committee and resolving it soon.
Next anomaly is manager status in trade union. Before 16 January 2023, manager were the part of union and they can freely actively participate in the union activity. On the basis of the verdict given by the court on writ petition filed to consider the manager as a part of workman, court gave the decision that manager cannot be considered as workman. On the basis of which, on 16 January 2023, from the management side, by circular it was circulated that managers have to disassociate themselves from the union and its activities. As a whole scenario to understand, this was not just an incident. It was well planned to weaken the union by cutting down the senior, well-experienced clan from the union who worked at least 15 to 20 years and then become manager, knowing all the challenges and its solution from the union point of view. As union is formed of three parts, manager, category 3 and category 4. By cutting down the manager as a part, it will be the easier to weaken the union and management can do as it wants. The decision of the management was challenged before High Court Lucknow, and now the managers can take part in union activity if they want. It does not stop here only. It was decided to abolish the post of category 4 from the FCI, which is just another way to make the union weak. Abolishment of category 4 proposal has been sent to ministry also for its approval. But BKNKS again intervened in the matter and clarifies management that there were 1600 to 1700 cases of compassionate appointment in category 4. And if abolishment of category 4 is done, these appointments can never be fulfilled and the family of the deceased employees will not get the justice in true nature. Management agreed from the union view and taking the suggestions given by the BKNKS positively decided to view the matter. If these 1600 to 1700 compassionate appointment will take place in future, it will be the true justice with the family of deceased employee and our union will also get in strength.
Now we'll talk about the sanction strength matter. There is an acute manpower shortage of crunch in FCI as Government of India has curbed our sanction strength gradually on time and motion basis. In 2010, sanction strength has been redesigned on the basis of storage capacity. When sanction strength was redesigned in 2010, FCI UP was a DCPS state, and after redesigning of sanction strength, the storage capacity handled by FCI in UP increased by many folds if we compare it by today's scenario. And this scenario is not just in UP but all over India. In December 2020, third-party audit of CGG was conducted for optimization of sanction strength in FCI, and they submitted their report in February 2021 only, which is such a short span of just 3 months, where in total 12,000 sanction strength was decreased. In order to decrease the total strength, abolishment of 7 to 8,000 category 4 employees were proposed and rest from category 1, 2 and 3. BKNKS then constantly trying to explain management that we need more staff at every category, be it category 1, category 2, category 3 or category 4, considering the workload in FCI. Understanding the union's stand on this matter, management has considered the formation of departmental committee to re-estimate the sanction strength of FCI, and further course of action will be taken upon the decision made by that departmental committee instead of that CGG audit report that occurred in 2020.
Moving to the next slide, these were some regulatory anomalies. Now we will move to the achievements at a glance. Here, the first achievement is CPF trust exemption from EPFO permanently and EPS 95. Before coming to this, we can know that EPF 1952 is a mandatory employee security tool for employees launched by the government. Parallel to the scheme offered by EPS 1952, which provides security in the form of employees' contribution plus interest upon retirement and death, we have our own CPF trust duly exempted from EPFO. EPS is what? It is basically the 12% of basic pay of salary plus DA and equal government contribution on monthly basis. Now, what is the benefit of having the own and exempted CPF trust? First, instead of an administrative charge of 1.1%, which all unexempted organization pay, an exempted organization pay only 0.18% as an inspection charge. This is a substantial cost saving over time. Second, FCI CPF trust manages the money of the employee of the FCI, giving interest rate as that is provided by EPFO or a higher rate. Presently, the rate of interest is 8.25%. Third, CPF trust requires the approval under Income Tax Act 1961 for employees to get tax benefit under 80C. Fourth, the CPF trust may frame their own rules and regulations for maintenance of provident fund accounts based on relevant provident fund rules and hence can provide additional benefits and extra conveniences to employees. Issues is the annual account information to employees and thus maintaining the transparency. Easy withdrawal and application of it to employees in case of retirement, quit or death cases. Money remains within the house trust formed by the employees where trust member board of trustees includes the category 1 officer along with the 6 representatives, which are 2 from BKNKS, 2 from labor union, 1 from the officers association and 1 from the sister union. Presently, Shri Puneet Mishra and Shri Kaustubh Bhumik are presenting the employee head from the BKNK in the trust. It becomes easier and faster to handle the settlement of employees' claim on employee retirement, resignation, faster by having own trust than depending on EPFO, which deals with the employee all over the India. It is worth mentioning here that presently our CPF trust is in loss of approximately 300 crores right from the COVID times. To cope up with this loss, management had decided to use this surplus amount from the trust, which was previously used to provide the bonus to the working employees. Against this said management dictatorial attitude, our CPF trustee member Shri Puneet Mishra had objected on 11 March 2024 meeting to use this surplus amount in covering the losses and clearly take a stand that according to EPFO norms that surplus fund should be distributed among the employees. But our sister union had provided its consent to use the amount in recovering the losses. Further, BKNK has again protested in this meeting, next on which management has agreed to send the problem to EPFO for its resolution. Now, what is the role of BKNK in providing the exemption of our CPF trust? The journey started when in the year 2014, FCI management with the due support of BKNK applied for the dream project of CPF trust exemption under section 17(2) of the EPF and MP Act 1952 from EPF. A positive outcome from EPFO for which every employee was waiting for a long time was not a piece of cake. A strong persuasion was needed at that time to get this exemption, and so our BKNK leaders approached various central trade union leaders in the meeting held with them on 15th May 2014. These central trade unionists were the member of the board of the trustees in EPFO at that time. They in turn strongly pleaded EPFO for FCI CPF trust exemption. In 2014, the wave of happiness ran through all the corner of FCI when the grant of exemption came from EPFO. However, that was not the end. A bigger challenge came in front of us when in February 2015, this exemption was dropped down by the Ministry of Labour and Employment due to non-compliance of contractor obligation and losses appearing in the final account of FCI towards EPF of the workers employed by them under the section 25 of EPS scheme 1952. BKNK again fought back for this situation, and in this sequence, Shri MC Tyagi, being then General Secretary, wrote a clarification letter to Shri Bandara Dattraya, Ministry of Labour and Employment, and sincerely approached him with all the facts and figures. Finally, BKNK Sangh's continuous persuasion resulted our own permanent recognized CPF trust in 2015. This was a big achievement for us.
Another achievement of BKNK Sangh is pension scheme and payouts. I want to elaborate that medical facilities and superannuation benefits were initially minimal. According to DPE guidelines, total superannuation benefits were capped at 30% of wages. While many other PSUs provide benefits below this threshold, we are fortunate in FCI to receive the full 30% benefit thanks to the strong leadership of BKNK Sangh. Before achieving this full superannuation benefit, we only received 16.17% consisting of 4.17% of gratuity and 12% in the form of CPF. After the union's effort, an additional 10% in the form of pension and 3.83% for medical facilities were added, completing the full 30% benefit. Incorporating this benefit into the Memorandum of Settlement of the Wage Revision with effect of 1st January 2017 was a significant achievement, although government approval was delayed in the matter. Persistent efforts by BKNK Sangh leaders, including a major protest in May 2016, eventually led to the government's action. Today, FCI employees enjoy improved pension scheme and medical facilities, reflecting the union's strength and dedication for advocating the rights of the employees.
Coming to the next and the historical achievement, that is wage negotiation. There was a time when employees of the Food Corporation of India were dreaming of salary increments similar to those of the central government employees. 2014 and 2016 batch employees were new and unaware of the significance of all India recognized union involvement in the securing wage revisions. Being all India recognized union, it was the responsibility of Bharatiya Khadya Nigam Karmachari Sangh to show how high-level strategies in securing a bright and smooth future through collective bargaining and better industrial relations. Since FCI falls under the category of central public sector undertaking, while central government employees get their wage revisions based on the Central Pay Commission report without negotiation, CPSU employees get there through the bilateral agreement with recognized staff union based on the Pay Revision Committee report. New employees often question whether BKNK could secure the wages and benefits they had dreamed of. On August 3, 2017, the Department of Public Enterprises issued a guideline for the wage revision of executives. Under these guidelines, BKNK selected 22 young employees from across India to propose a draft proposal for the collective bargaining. Moving to its key events and the milestone, as you can see, on 3rd August 2017, DPE issued the wage revision guideline and BKNK drafted a proposal. On 16 December 2017, proposal presented to the National Executive Committee. 30 January 2018, the proposal was submitted to the FCI management. On 12 February 2018, negotiations stalled due to the affordability clause issue. NEC BKNKS made all-out efforts for getting this exemption from the affordability clause. On one hand, we launched the countrywide agitation on this issue, and on the other hand, we were meeting various authorities, including the Honorable DPE Minister. On June 29, 2018, Ministry of Food granted the negotiation permission after protest. The part of negotiation started and it moved from the 23rd July 2018 to 9 October 2018. The multiple round of meeting with FCI management, gradual progress in the wage discussion was there. On 1st October 2018 and 8 November 2018, the nationwide lunch hour demonstration and work to rule campaign initiated for our demands. Comes to the part of the victory. December 18, 2018, management offered revised scale, that is rupees 28,000 for S5, rupees 30,150 for S6 and 33,200 for S7. On the day of signing of MOU on dated 2nd Feb, that was the 1st Feb 2019, it was known to everyone that the scale of AG3 is going to be finalized at 28,000. But even on the day of signing the MOU, we were succeeding finalizing the scale number 5 at 28,200. It means that rupees 200 more were negotiated even on the day of signing of MOU. On 7 January 2019, further discussion led to assurance for additional benefits. Not only we achieved 32% cafeteria approach, but we achieved the area with effect from 1st January 2017. It was not out of context to mention here that DOE, while approving this wage revision of proposed area of cafeteria from the date of signing of MOU, but due to the constant whistle of this file of wage revision, we immediately intervened and got succeeded in getting the wage revision area with effect from 1st January 2017 only. It was the BKNK's persistent effort, strategic negotiation and strong employee support led to the significant wage revision, marking the landmark achievement in the history of the trade union in India. It is noteworthy that from always, BKNK was the only recognized and responsible union who had successfully negotiated wages except for the wage revision of 1997, which had fallen in the weak negotiation hand of our sister union. And that occurred due to the technical glitch in recognition of 1995 union election that was also mentioned before in the slide of introduction of BKNKs. Because of this, we had suffered two major drawbacks and that are affecting us yet. First, that the wage negotiation duration has shifted from every 5-year periodicity to 10 years, which despite of homogeneous jump in wages from one wage revision to other make employee dissatisfied after spending every 7-year span due to the skyrocketing inflation. And second, our sister union had dealt with that time stagnation by the way of abolition of 18,000 posts of category 3, which was not surely a wise decision as it has increased the work burden on present-day employee by many-fold.
Coming upon to the representation before Shanta Kumar Committee and opposition of McKinsey report. Meeting successfully all its objective and serving continuously till date, our corporation suffered from infamy and has been blamed for inefficiency and mismanagement. Overlooking its input for the nation, FCI has been criticized a lot. Various committees and agencies were formed by the government from time to time to conduct studies and various surveys carried out to assess its performance. A chronological detail of which is as follows. Bureau of Industrial Cost and Prices 1989-90, AFCI 2001, HLC on Long-Term Grain Policy chaired by Professor Abhijit Sen in 2002, Bhatia Committee 2002, Arun Sinha Committee 2004, Mrs. McKinsey and Company 2005 and 2006, Shanta Kumar Committee in 2014 and the very recent CGG Committee Audit 2020. All these committees came up with the mixed reviews regarding FCI. For instance, some came with the inference that food security of nation is in safe hands, while on the other hand, some talked about downsizing the manpower and privatization, reforming and restructuring of FCI. Being a potent stakeholder, BKNK stood firmly to protect this corporation image and resist trimming of staff strength here in the name of restructuring by various above-mentioned committees from time to time. Recently, CGG audit was done in this department in 2020. I have told you earlier in sanction strength slide, I have told you about this, where the audit team members were preopined about the excess staff over here. Witnessing the biased observation and low technicalities, our NEC came forward with the demand for meeting with CGG audit team before they might come to any conclusion in black and white. Despite holding the positive meeting, they moved forward with the negative report whereby they had concluded about downsizing the staff strength by 12,000. Afterwards, NEC BKNK started convincing respected CMD sir that the CGG audit report is flawsome and thereby he had agreed upon holding the departmental re-examination of staff strength and also assured that if as per union submission, if the staff strength is found to be low, then he would proceed with the staff expansion, forget about downsizing it.
Coming to the next achievement, that is the APS scheme. As you people already know about this, but APS stands for the Accelerated Promotion Scheme. The departmental exam was the core issue for NEC BKNKS and we were continuously pursuing this issue since 2013. And ultimately, we succeeded in Food Ministry approved the proposal of FCI for starting this process in the name of Accelerated Promotion Scheme. The condition for appearing in APS exam was very good remark in APR for 3 consecutive years, which is quite a task for employees posted in field. BKNKS raised its voice against this anomaly as of now that we are in the constant persuasion with the management regarding this issue.
Now we'll talk about SIS, that is Stagnation Impact Amelioration Scheme. The objective of this scheme is to provide additional pay benefits to the employees in the form of financial upgradation in case of hindrance in promotion, opportunities due to stagnation. Under this scheme, additional pay increment is implemented by increasing the basic pay last drawn by 3%. Earlier, under ACP scheme, arrangements were made for additional salary increment to the employees on completion of 8 and 12 years of regular service. On the recommendation of the 6th Pay Commission, the central government introduced Modified Assured Career Progression Scheme for civilian employees by making changes in the ACP based on the concepts of running pay band and grade pay, under which employees get 3 financial upgradations on completion of 10, 20 and 30 years of continuous regular service. On the basis of ACPS, that is Assured Career Progression Scheme, BKNKS put forward a proposal to the management to change the then agreement scheme. Due to some anomaly, BKNK approached management to make amendment in the increment scheme, and after several persuasion, Ministry issued a letter dated 26 August 2014 amending the order, after which the Stagnation Impact Amelioration Scheme (SIS) was incorporated in Food Corporation of India by the Headquarters Circular dated 8 October 2014. Under this scheme, Category 3 and Category 4 employees are given an additional increment on the same pay scale at each stage on completion of 6, 12 and 20 years of regular service.
Coming to the next achievement, that is OTA exclusion from allowance category. BKNK raised the issue of treating the OTA outside the purview of 50% ceiling. As DP guideline, it is crystal clear that only allowances come under the ceiling of 50% of basic pay. OTA is not an allowance. It is a part of the wages and it is only given when any employee is detained on OTA by the employer and the employee thus has to perform the extra duty other than the normal working hours. It is the requirement of the management and the employee give their extra time to corporation, sacrificing their family and social life in the interest of the corporation. As per the Shop and Establishment Act, it is clearly mentioned that OTA is a part of the wages and per hour rate of OTA is calculated on the basis of his or her and dearness allowances which both define our wages. After constant persuasion of BKNK, Board of Directors approved exclusion of OTA from 50% of ceiling.
Change in DOP of sanctioned TADA. Earlier, the sanctioning of TADA for Category 3 employees above 90 days falls under the DOP of ED North Zonal Office, which was cumbersome enough for early disposal of the TA bills. Due to preservation of BKNK Sung on 24th February 2020, the DOP of sanctioning of TADA was transferred from ED North to GM region, which is the process of claiming the bills.
Next achievement is of medical schemes. Earlier, the fixed amount of quarterly payment of Rs 2,250 per quarter is being paid to the employees and medical reimbursement for OPD treatment. Reimbursement of the medical expenses for the prolonged chronic diseases, lab tests and the indoor treatment is paid over and above the said limit, as per the existing scheme of the corporation. In the matter, the union strongly demanded for reverting back to the earlier system of reimbursement of actual medical expenses, that is payment as per original expenses. After protracted discussions, it is agreed that the payment of fixed amount of medical expenses shall be dispensed and reimbursement of actual medical expense as allowed to Category 1 and Category 2 shall be allowed from the date of signing of Memorandum of Settlement. Further, the reimbursement of medical bill expenses shall be reviewed after 3 years from the date of signing of MOU by the management in consultation with the nationally recognized union. The same was reviewed and is still in force.
Another achievement is new social security scheme. FCI has its own security welfare trust, by the way of which cumulative benevolent fund scheme and social security scheme grants, whereby 30 rupees and 70 rupees are respectively currently being deducted from the salary of each and every employee to provide social security, irrespective of any category vocations. This is applicable on the basis of age brackets. Union has demanded to enhance this contribution by 150 rupees and 500 rupees respectively, which is presently on the stage of seeking board approval. I found this in the need of the time to upgrade this facility in order to avail a better social security plan, thanks to the high leadership of BKNKS.
Another achievement is festival advance. As we know, earlier the amount accorded for the festival advance was rupees 10,000, and now by the effort of BKNKS, the limit has been increased to 20,000 in 2023. And this is the maximum. Now you have the question, why it is only 20,000? Now this is the maximum amount that we can avail in the name of festival advance, as further increase in the value would come under the taxable amount as per central government norms. While managers are still getting the festival advance of rupees 12,000 only, but BKNKS is continuously pursuing with management for festival advance of rupees 20,000 for the managers also.
Coming upon to the next achievement, briefcase facility. Part of deemed item dated 3rd July 2023. Providing a significant yet symbolic benefit for category 3 employees. This facility is linked with DA, that if the DA would increase to 50%, then automatically this amount would also increase by about 25%. Currently, AG1 receives rupees 2,000, AG2 receives rupees 1,750 and AG3 receives 1,500 rupees as a reimbursement for briefcase facility.
Coming to the next achievement, that is the crèche facility. It's an important achievement for us, personally for me also. I can remember beyond any doubt that this ultimate demand was put forth by the ROUP committee. At that time it was known as a convener committee, in the front of Mrs. Reena Kumari Meena, the then ED North, in 2017 during her visit at RO Lucknow. It was the first time ever this demand was raised. We were elated seeing her response. You all would be pleased to hear this, that from this start to the long-term persuasion, we finally got our very own crèche facility at FCI RO Lucknow, which was the first crèche facility in FCI from all around India. Visualizing its necessity level, Union had inserted this demand in the Charter of Demands during the wage negotiation of 2017 in the form of the de-linked items. Thereafter, this issue was also raised nationally in their periodical meeting holding by our ex-General Secretary Sri J.S. Jugdal sir on 27th October 2021, where he convinced the management to provide the facility to other regions and offices where the staff strength is up to 50 or more. Here, once again, a dispute had begun where management was adamant that this criteria of 50 staff strength should be of females only. Once again, our union, by the way of RTI, had come forward with the clarification sought by the ministry that this criteria includes both male and female employee at any depots or the offices. Afterward, due to the efforts of our previous General Secretary, this point got incorporated in the MPR minutes, and minutes state that the circular of the Ministry of Women and Child Welfare in this regard is being adopted. Thereafter, the circular was issued by dated 7 April 2022 for setting up and running up the crèche in various FCI offices all over the India. EDP advised Union to take up the matter at the appropriate level at ZO, RO and DO for necessary implementation. The issue of crèche facility for employees, especially for our women employees, were pursued by our union vigorously, as this is the issue which will give much needed relief to our employees, especially the women employees. This battle was fought from that time when our sister union was not even aware of this name. They are fake credit holders.
One of the recent achievement of BKNKS is abolition of SOP of technical wing. On 27th March 2023, headquarters introduced an SOP for deployment of QC staff in procurement operation, and in the same was to be implemented from October 2023, where all the technical assistants and manager QCs deployed for procurement shall be rotated frequently at the interval of just mere 15 days and 30 days respectively to avoid development of any vested interest. Now, BKNK objected against this SOP with letter dated 17th April 2023, highlighting the practical and humanitarian difficulties faced by our QC staff across various regions and strongly requested management to hold the implementation of this rotation policy across all procurement regions. With letter dated 1st October 2023, management submitted its reply, which was illogical and non-feasible, and therefore union again protested against it. During the periodical meeting held on 20th November 2023, it was apprised that on 6th November 2023, a committee has been framed by management to review this SOP. Now, it is pertinent to mention that even Haryana and Odisha region did not implement this at all. Presently, this SOP is kept in abeyance state on the basis of court cases filed by sister union in Punjab High Court. But BKNK Sound is of the view to make management withdraw this arbitrary SOP.
Now coming to the next and the last slide, we will talk about the policy matters in pipeline which is currently being pursued by BKNK Sound. Among this, the first one is the transfer policy review by high-level committee formed due to the persuasion of BKNK. Second concept is the pink depot concept given by the union for its soon implementation. Pay upgradation demand raised by our union. Refreshment incentive should be given during the overtime office work.
Special increment for COVID-19. Own compassionate policy should be formed. Stagnation in category 3. Resolving stagnation problem in category 3, majorly in technical cadre of North Zone. Least accommodation and for category 3 employees in providing hotel facility to category 3 employees. At last, I'd like to thank you all for being here and attending this orientation program. Best of luck all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for enlightening us with the remarkable achievements and vision of BKNK Summit. As we conclude this orientation program, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. We are confident that under the leadership of our esteemed General Secretary and with the dedication of our exceptional team, BKNK Sangh will continue to excel and achieve new milestones with your support. Now, a big round of applause for Mrs. Garima Upadhyay and Mrs. Akanksha Jaiswal for conducting this orientation program. And now I would like to invite Mr. Zahir Ahmed sir and Mr. Anupam Krishna Patel sir to present memento to these three supremely talented ladies, including me, who turned out this event successfully.